logic dictates that we believe that the universe has a creator. This is a logical conclusion. Not for me, from logic. From logic itself. If you use logic and rationality, you have to submit that there is a creator in this universe. Why? Because everything demonstrates that there is a creator behind all of these effects. You cannot have an effect without a cause.
But do you think the Bible and the Quran is written by God or by human beings?
God didn't write any of these books.
Maybe,
God
but
revealed.
Books, are they written
God,
by a man?
In science, we're talking about realms where
this is
logic
something
is not
different.
applicable, like
Just to
quantum mechanics.
quickly answer this question, we believe God reveals, meaning what? He actually inspires people. This is an inspiration or a revelation to certain people that he chooses, the best among the community, so that people can believe in them, and he gives them the message about who he is, what we are, why we're here, what's going to happen to us when we die, and is there a heaven or a hell, and the purpose of our creation. You know, this is very basic. So the Creator tells us, because if the Creator didn't tell us, then we will be like many people are, without the guidance from the Creator, we'll be lost in misguidance.
You can be an atheist, and your mantra can be you will be a good person and nice to people.
You can
nice
your
When you
values
say
on
you
beautiful
can be an
literature.
atheist, you see, atheism, as
values.
far as I
You can
understand,
be a good person.
atheism, as far as I understand, is to believe that there is no God. But that's a position that you cannot have any evidence for. Why? Because it's a claim that you're making in a positive way. You're saying positively, there is no God.
No, well,
You have not exhausted every single evidence of anything or of any kind to say there is no God. For example,
but most
there-
atheists wouldn't say, I am 100% certain there is no God. Most atheists would say, there is no evidence to suggest there is a God, therefore I live my life.
Not atheist.
not atheism.
Not technically agnostic.
Yes.
agnostic.
So atheism,
So far on the
by
side,
definition,
gentlemen.
atheism is something that is not very logical to hold because it's not something you can prove. If you believe atheism is true, that means you believe in some kind of fairy tale because you have no evidence to back this up.
So I can ask
No
you the
evidence
same
to prove
question,
it.
right? I can ask you the same question.
No.
If you have covered everything, if you have covered everything,
No, what
are
we
you
say,
a born
we have
Muslim?
evidence. We have evidence for the Creator. The question is, what kind of evidence do we have? Is what you should be asking.
I'm not proved completely
He's going back
for
to
the evidence.
Okay, we can talk about. Okay, let's start with the very basics.
Teach about Jesus.
In terms of evidence for the Creator, do you think that something like us, something, right? You are something. Your glass is something, your shoe is something. Matter, materials, energy, this is something. Do you think it's possible that there's something could have arisen, could have come from absolute nothingness? Is it logical, is it rational?
Maybe, maybe not.
Okay, tell me how
Because
it's
I
maybe.
wasn't present at that time.
Okay, tell me how
Maybe
maybe.
in the realm of quantum mechanics, for example, that kind of logic which works in our everyday world is not applicable because stuff pops out of nothing.
That's not true either.
At least there is a theory.
That's not true either.
But can I ask you guys a question?
This is a
Do you adhere
misunderstanding of
to a
quantum
particular
mechanics.
religion?
We are
I've
Muslims.
already said we're Muslims.
All right.
Islam is the religion,
Well,
the way of life,
Even
the
if you,
ideology that
even
we
if you believe there is a God, why would you think that the particular religion you adhere to is right?
Because Islam is the same religion that this Creator Allah sent from day one with the creation of the first man. Throughout time, it's the same religion, Islam. You might think Islam is, what kind of religion is that? It looks like, sounds like Arabic.
No, I have nothing.
Yeah. But if
I
you-
was just saying
but if
there's
you-
a huge
if you-
leap of faith
if
from
you
saying there is a God
understood-
to.
If you understood what Islam is the submission and surrender of one's will, willingly and sincerely to one true God. So the first man that God created, Allah created, and
Adam,
the last man,
presumably. Adam, presumably.
he submitted and surrendered his will willingly and sincerely to this one true God. So that was his religion, Islam, and he was a Muslim. You know Jesus and Moses, right? You think they are Christians and
They were
Jewish?
Right.
So all my will
Just one
submitted
second.
to Allah.
Please. Moses, the prophet, peace be upon him.
I don't like it particularly.
Okay, so I didn't hear what you said.
I would
Moses.
sacrifice someone.
Yeah.
Do you think he was anything other than Muslim and his religion was other than Islam? Moses, the prophet. Okay. Jew, for example, I could be an Arab. My religion is Islam or Christianity or whatever, right? So he could be a Jew if he is by race. We're not talking about racial identity. We're talking about the religious identity. faith. So did Moses, the prophet, peace be upon him, believe in one true creator? He did certainly. Did he willingly and sincerely and humbly worship and surrender to this one true creator? Yes, certainly. So that is his state of submission and surrender to this one true God. That state we describe in an Arabic terminology called Islam. So anyone, like this tree or the sun or the moon or the planets, anything that is subjects and surrenders itself, himself or herself, to the will of the Creator, one true Creator, is a Muslim, and the state of submission is Islam.
But if you don't believe in that Moses exists, you can't use it as a proof.
That's a different question altogether. But I'm saying historically, those people who believe he existed, so that will be his religion, Islam and Muslims. So coming back to the question about how can we be sure there is a creator or not? How can you jump from agnosticism to really believing in it? So when you say maybe it's possible that nothing can generate something, I will say this statement has no meaning when you say such a thing.
It's completely a possibility in a strictly scientific sense.
I will tell you why it's not. No, you misunderstand quantum mechanics. Are you a physicist?
No, but Lawrence Krauss is, and he's been saying this for years.
What is he saying?
He said universe is created from nothing.
Yeah, something can affect.
That's his opinion. My opinion is I'm not sure yet.
Good.
So what justifies the existence of God?
Maybe you should take this then.
Right.
What's that?
Now, let me return to Professor Lawrence Krauss. You know, this is exactly what I told him when I approached him in one of his lectures.
Brilliant.
And I told him, why are you deceiving people? I'm paraphrasing the words, it's been a few years ago. By telling them that the universe came from nothing, when this is not the case. He explained, he says, but I explain it in my book what this nothing is, which is a something. So he doesn't believe that the universe came from nothing. He explains his nothing is something. Some kind of quantum fluctuation, something like this, whatever, right? He explains it.
And you would say that's not nothing.
Wait,
Please, no definition yet. I've read
so now I am proven right again and again by speaking to people who are agnostic or atheist. They have really bought this thing from him. He's been deceiving you or not. How? Because you said, one moment, my friend. You said, Professor Lawrence Krauss said,
something
the universe
came from
nothing. This is precisely the deception he's been guilty of. Because this is not true. He does not believe the universe came from nothing. Neither does any of the scientists. Because in quantum mechanics, when something pops into existence, if it was nothing to begin with, it cannot come into existence because it was nothing. It was no energy. It was no quanta. No hadrons, no leptons, no gluons, nothing whatsoever. No fluctuation, no virtuality, right? When there is absolutely nothing, no energy and no fluctuation, then this cannot even jump into a virtual reality. It's meaningless. So they talk about there was some virtual state in which there is a virtual state of affairs, whether it's energy or whatever, and then what happens is stuff in the virtual realm, they transform from one state to the other. They are already in existence. So what it is just a transformation of a state from one to the other. It doesn't mean they believe. You can go and research this. That they believe there was absolute nothingness, and then I'm just debunking this myth that Professor Lawrence Krauss believes and teaches that the universe came from nothing, which is not the case.
No, he has given a theory.
He has deceived people like yourself in thinking that the universe came from nothing. So now I'm asking you again, to give you another opportunity. Is it even meaningful to suggest something can come out of absolute nothingness? Let me tell you what my absolute nothingness is, right? Absolute nothingness is the absence of everything. So there is no something, no energy, no matter, no space, no fluctuations, absolutely nothing. If you have absolute nothing, can you get something out of it?
So, have you seen nothing?
I've just defined what my nothing is. So can something come from this absolute nothingness?
There is no evidence of nothing. Can you show? There is no evidence of nothing.
I just gave you an option.
No, he didn't show. He didn't show.
He gave you the
there is no. It's known as epidermal evidence.
Listen,
there is no evidence of.
What kind of evidence?
epidermal evidence.
Epidermal, what does it mean? Epidermis is skin.
Sorry, what do you call that? Physical.
Sorry, these words are too smart for me.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay, fine.
Look, I am only telling you,
So,
this something, is it even rational for us to think that it can come from absolute nothingness?
No.
The answer is, it is irrational to suggest in any way, shape or form that absolute nothingness can generate something, because absolute nothing is absence of everything. That means then, there's one thing that you have to conclude. This something must come from something.
Either way, it doesn't really help you postulating an incredibly complex designer instead of starting from very simple beginnings.
Okay, where did you get this idea that the
and the
creator
designer
is
itself
incredibly complex?
was created.
Surely, if he made the whole universe, surely it must be more complex than the sort of nothing that Lawrence Krauss is talking about.
I mean, this is a logical assumption that you're making. You have to really demonstrate how the creator is logically, he is incredibly complex because he made this universe. But I'm coming back to this point though. We're going to go logically step by step. Since absolute nothingness cannot generate something like us, it's irrational, there has to be something that gave rise to our existence. The question is,
Only us or the entire universe?
everything. So that means this universe,
So the creator itself need a creator?
listen.
Yes or no? Answer my question.
You're jumping. You're not thinking. That's what you're doing. You're jumping instead of thinking. I want you to think now with me, step by step. Since absolute nothingness cannot cause something, that means we are caused by something. The question now then follows is,
I think
what
I follow your
caused,
logic, but-
what caused that something that caused us?
Yes.
And we can move on like this.
Yeah, and you would say a creator caused us.
No, I'm not saying anything.
Right?
We're going to logically now demonstrate.
That's not what you're saying,
Remember-
but that's what you actually want to say. That's what you're
You demand evidence for a creator, and when the evidence is systematically, logically, step by step is given to you, or about to be given to you, you somehow say, okay, let's go on. Actually, what you're saying is no. What I'm going to do, look, what I'm going to do is, I am going to establish to you, when you ask me the evidence for a creator. What I'm doing is demonstrating to you that there is a creator. And the way I'm doing it, I'm not doing through empirical evidence by repeatability and experimentation. I'm using rationality, the rational faculty that we have. So something has to bring us into existence. You might say, what brought that something into existence? And then I can say, what brought that something that brought this something that brought this universe? So you can go on and on and on ad infinitum, right? With no end. So there was there are a chain of causes of our existence to never ending. Or there is an end to this course. You've already alluded to that already. There is an end to this course, meaning there is a first prime mobile, prior to which there is no course, meaning there is the first course, or there is no course ending. There's always a course. Now, the problem with this first assumption, if there's always been a course with no end, infinite causes, you can never explain, and you can never have something like us today.
Your brain is so complex, you need reasonable argument for everything.
Let me give you an example.
You need. So I stopped at this point where we have humans, we have nature, we have everything what we need. There's no creator.
Okay. There's one thing you've missed
let
from the
the creator
equation.
himself
Okay,
come and
wait. We'll come to that. We'll come to that. Let's do one way. I haven't finished my point yet. You've got a book on your hand, right? Very small book. Now, you are... Hold on. You've got this book. Now, imagine now, there are infinite number of people in front of you. The action of this book coming into my hand, would it ever take place? If in front of me and you, infinite number of people.
What's the problem?
Okay, it's like this. To receive this book from you, it has to go through all the infinite number of people in between first before it comes to me. So imagine, there are two people in front of me. So he has to go to the first and the second and then to me, right? Imagine there's three people. So first, second, third and to me. If there are 100, so he has to be like this. 100 people, it has to just pass on to 100 people, and eventually I'm the 101. If there are infinite number of people in front of me, and this book should come from you through them to me, would this book ever come to my hands? If there were infinite number of people in front of me and you.
By definition, there is no infinite number.
If there are infinite
So
number of
let's say
people.
100, it will reach 1,000.
If there are infinite.
It would be possible if it traveled at an infinite.
Yeah, so for infinite number of times, it will reach.
If there are infinite number of... Hang on. Wait. You know, are you a logical person?
Yes, I am.
Good. So if there are infinite number of people...
It will take infinite number of times to reach to you.
Yes, so we're gonna need infinite creators to reach out.
Exactly. His question has infinite.
Wait, listen. So before it comes to me, there's always another person in front of me. Always another person.
Yes.
So when is it going to come to an end? At what point will it come to me?
Because you defined there are infinite number of people.
Do you know why I defined it?
Yes.
Just to illustrate to you the irrational, illogical stance of accepting that something exists now and there are infinite number of causes. So this is called the problem of infinite regress, right? Infinite regress. Infinite regress is not very rational, but very logical. I was just demonstrating, if you believe that the cause for yourself and for me, for this universe, is there are infinite number of causes before me, I would say you will never come into existence. Just like this book will never come to my hand if there are infinite number of people in front of me. You know very well, as a rational human being, infinite number of people means there's always someone in front of me. This book will never reach my hand. That means what? The idea that I will have this book, an action to take place, it will never happen if there are infinite number of them in front of me. So this universe will never come into existence if there are infinite number of causes for this universe. So rationally now you have to conclude the causes of our universe is not infinite, it's finite, means there is a first cause. So now you rationally accept it. There is a cause for our universe, which is the first
If I have
cause.
understood it right.
Yes,
Since infinity is a number undefined by math, okay?
that's what I said.
Yeah, it is a
It's a
number.
concept.
Yeah, it's a concept undefined by math, and you used that in your question. And you told that there is infinite number of possibilities for a cause, and I have to believe a cause because there are infinite number of possibilities.
Let me explain to you now in 30 seconds. You exist now, there is a cause for your existence. This universe has a cause. Now, where does this cause end? Is there a first cause or the cause is infinity? You tell me which one.
Okay, for the sake of argument,
Not for the sake of argument. You rationally conclude, giving rational and logical reasons why you choose your options. So, is there a cause of our universe which is first cause or there is always?
See, I choose my options because I believe in what I see, physical, scientific, any evidence.
Deal with my example.
Any evidence.
Deal with my example.
So, with your example, is you giving indefinite number.
I am not
into
giving
your
anything.
question.
I'm not giving you anything.
See, your question is infinite number of infinite number of people in
see,
front of you.
maybe-
There are no infinite number of people.
Maybe you did. First of all, you've misunderstood me, right? I demonstrated to you that something cannot come from absolute nothingness. There is no waffling away with. I have demonstrated to you, rationally, I have. Unless you tell me otherwise, go on. Refute and debunk.
What
the
my
example
statement
that
was,
you
that's not a reason for me to believe.
No. Wait a second. I demonstrated rationally that something cannot come out of absolute nothingness. If you do not accept that, tell me why you don't accept it. Before I go into the next step.
Well, you demonstrated that logically, sure, it would be so, but you haven't demonstrated and you can't prove that you can.
You and I, no one can prove it.
That this is even that logic is even applicable to something like the beginning of the universe.
So now you're saying logic only applicable to what? When you believe that there is no God. That only, this is the time when logic is applicable. It's strange, isn't it? Why do you pick and choose
Even science
application of
haven't
logic? When it fits you, you use logic. When it doesn't fit you, you use...
I'm just saying this is surely a scientific problem. This is not a logical
Listen.
problem.
The question now is this. I have given you a rational, logical reason why something cannot come out of absolute nothingness. Do you agree with my explanation and my logic, my rationality, or do you disagree? If you disagree, you have to tell me.
I don't
why.
disagree with the
So
logic.
you,
I
good,
disagree
good.
with.
Do you
Listen.
disagree?
We don't have a definite answer. I myself don't know where we came from. I mean, the origin of everything.
Then you didn't understand my logic.
All right. God bless you
No, I
guys.
don't know.
Take care. See you later. Listen. Something. Is it possible for something to come from absolute nothingness?